Hi, and welcome to making simple models in NURBS and transferring them to polygons tutorial. Um, this is basically what you need to do for We Are the Robots. Um, what I've done here is make a loft, and I've transferred this loft to a polygon object. And the beauty of it is that most of your UVs are ready-made. You have to do uh, very basic stuff to it to make it look really good. I'll show you the UV I'm at right now. It's this little thing here, and you can see this is the top part, front, the bottom part, and this is the whole thing. And you will notice that if I select these inner UVs, you can tell that they're actually right here in the middle, so the seam is going to be here on the back. If I just select these, of course you can do it some other way. If I select these, you can see that it's beautifully lined up, and this is really easy to texture map. But let's go into the modeling of this. Well, it's kind of like an insect leg for an insect kind of robot. So I'll make a new scene, and I'll start out with the front view, and I'll draw a linear curve. For those who are using newer versions, you just have to pick the linear curve from the pen tool, and I'll ask for the magnet tool. I'll enable it. I'll ask for work plane snap, and finally ask for grid snap. Now my center is here, so keep that in mind, and I'll just start off with something that looks like a little house with a dent in it. Okay, now you can stop right here because I can always close the curve, and that will give me the UVs. Now if you want to line them up straight ahead, which I haven't done in the previous version, you have to take care of this point, because this point is the beginning and the end of the curve. So if you go to Mesh, Spline, I'll just rip out this menu, and you say move down sequence, the center point is actually moving to this part. So this is the beginning and the end of the line, and also the beginning and the end of your UVs later on. Now I'll select these 3 points, and I'll make them soft. I should have kept that menu open. I'll go down to Mesh, Spline, and make them soft interpolation. So it kind of looks like this right now. I'll just scale it down a little bit, like this. This is a nice cross section of the leg that I want to make. I can make it pointier. Let's move this up a little bit, like this. This looks okay. Now, there's several ways of doing it. I'm just going to use a little trick called, hang on, first I have to move in a null point. I'll explain about that later. Put the spline in, and when I got the null selected, I'll ask for a cloner object. Now you can put it into the cloner directly, and let's see, I shouldn't do that in the perspective view. Here I got 3 clones now. I'm going to make a total of 5 clones. So I open the cloner menu. I want 5 clones. I don't want them to move over the Y. I want them to move over the Z a little bit, and I want them to turn over the pitch, and something like this. And let's see, it has to drop down like this, and then obviously it has to be scaled somewhat. Let's first pump this up, and this is already rotating, but my spline is in there, and I should move the spline up. That's why I put in the null mode, because right now, as soon as you pick up the cloner, it will automatically go to the origin of the world, and it will actually start cloning from that point. Now, I don't have any control, because if I move the null node up and down, you see nothing happens. But the spline, I can still move up. Oh, shoot. I should do that in object mode. The spline can still move up, and that will give me a completely different effect. So let's say this is okay. Let's move this up a little bit more. It bends a little bit more. And then I'll just put the scaling down to 81, because that worked last time. 81. And now I've got these all lined up like this. 5 should do it. So 4 clones in the original. And what I'm doing now is actually making this editable. So I push C, and I get this. A whole mess, but it's actually pretty easy to put that all in a loft because it's all in order. So I'm starting with this spline, and with the control key I'll just select all the other splines, move them out of the cloner, and put them in the loft. Now I can get rid of this, and I got this tooth-shaped thing, but it's got way too many subdivisions. I'll show you. This is way too much. And I don't need the caps, so let's first get rid of the caps. So I'll just say none in the loft, because that is actually creating the caps. And in the loft itself, there's a whole bunch of parameters that have to do with subdivisions. Now, put them down as far as possible. So for instance, this can go to 2. If you want a low poly object, this will still look good. If you want to add a few more just to make the contour a little bit nicer, that's okay. This would be okay. These polygons around actually don't matter too much with the contour of the object. So I'll just put this down to, let's see, now let's put it up to 9. Let's see how many polygons I got. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's gonna line up nicely. Maybe put up 2. Looks even better. Yeah, this'll do. And you can put it up to 13 if you really want to have something that looks half decent. Alright, let's say this is good and there's not too many polygons in it right now. I can actually make this editable again. The only thing I need to do is actually create caps of my own, and that's not going to be too hard. Since I got the bridge tool, the B, go to edges, and whoops, let's take the right one. I'll just snap these right dead center here, so I should zoom out a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to go this way and this way and snap it like this. Now these UVs are going to be screwed up because they're all going to be ranging from 0, 0 to 1, 1 each and every single quad, but we can map this in with frontal mapping or something or other. Let's see, in object information I got 198 polygons. Now for a low polygon object, if this is just a small element, it's quite a few polygons, but mind you, an average character in a 3D game nowadays is about 10,000 polygons. and it's probably going to go up in the coming years. So I'm not going to bother with the cap at the bottom. I'm just going to move straight on to the UV unwrap to the next part.